I'd like to start off by saying no one should be a member of the Shivas Irons Society. I don't know that there's a calling to be a member of the Shivas Irons Society, but the society embraces some of the finer aspects of the game of golf. People are members of the society for different reasons. People want to find other like-minded golfers. So if the book Golf in the Kingdom resonates with you, you might be someone who wants to be a member of the Shivas Irons Society, so you can meet more people that are like you, that appreciate the game for some of the reasons you do.
Hey, this is Steve Bruskern calling from Scottsdale, Arizona. I play at Pinnacle Peak Country Club, and I am Golf Smarter number 831.
Congratulations, Steve. You've just earned a year-long membership to Dynamic Golfers by introducing today's episode. Stay tuned to hear how you can get one for yourself. Golf in the Kingdom and the Shivas Irons Society with Executive Director Ben Kline.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Ben.
It's a pleasure to be here, Fred. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. We played golf together recently, which was a lot of fun down in the Monterey area.
Yes, we did.
Your backyard.
Yep.
Carmel Valley Ranch. I'm actually wearing my Carmel Valley Ranch shirt that I bought there today because I'm going out and playing with John today.
Oh, good. Tell him hi.
I will do so. You are actually on this show a long time ago, episode 160.
Wow.
And this one's, I think we're going to have this as episode 831. So it's been a while since you've been on. And the last time...
What took us so long?
Yeah, well, the last time you were on, you were talking about a book that you wrote, right?
Well, I was probably talking about my master's thesis. So it never became a book.
It never became a book. We talked about a book to be, but it was your master's thesis.
Okay, if that's the way we remember it. I was doing a sports psychology master's degree, and I did my thesis on mindfulness practice and the anxious golfer. And if I turned it into a book, I'm sure it would not become a bestseller. But
but it would sell. Anxious. Can we talk about that for mindfulness and the anxious golfer? Can we talk about that for the
I'm sure it will dovetail beautifully into whatever we talk about next. So yes.
So mindfulness and the anxious golfer. Mindfulness has become I hate to say a buzzword. There's so many people talking about it these days, but it's something that is so integral to golf.
Yeah.
We've had conversations with Dr. Joe Parent so many times.
Sure.
And even Fred Shoemaker.
Yeah. And Golf in the Kingdom, of course, is a book that starts with a young man going to England to study mindfulness and yoga, or going to India rather, and stops in Scotland for a round of golf. So, mindfulness is a buzzword that's been around for, I don't know, maybe 3,000 years. At least the practice has been.
Right.
And in today's age of anxiety, it's a very helpful tool. And I think it's a helpful tool that is great in many situations. And since golf is such a metaphor for life in many different ways, mindfulness is a great way to help cultivate more awareness in our practice with the game of golf, as well as just in life in general. And
we're going to talk a lot more about Golf in the Kingdom and Shivas Iron and the Shivas Irons Society, which you are now the executive director of. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that later. But I want to get back to anxious golfers because I don't think people even accept the fact that maybe they are anxious, even if they're like, I'm not an anxious person, but on the golf course, it's probably they are. How do we recognize that?
Well, I don't know if it's important to recognize it. I think we're all on a spectrum of anxiety, maybe, or presence, and I don't know that they're opposites. I do believe, and I think there's evidence to show it, that if you practice mindfulness or meditation in its various forms, it can't hurt. It's a calming presence. It helps to quiet the mechanisms in our brain that interfere with being present and allow us to be present to what is in the present moment. When we're being anxious, we're either thinking about something in the future that hasn't happened yet, like hitting a shot over a lake to a tight pin position, or a job interview that it's in the future, or any of a million things. But when we are present, you're only present to the fact that there's hammering in the background, or there's you and I sitting here having a conversation. The temperature is a little chillier than room temperature, and the sounds, the birds flying in the background. That's being in the present moment. And mindfulness is a practice where you just constantly bring yourself back to that present moment. And it's an exercise, and it trains our brain. And I wish I did more of it, and that's on me. But I know that when I do practice more regularly, I feel happier and more present, and I probably play better golf when I'm, where I practice more consistently.
Right.
Be motivation enough just to practice every day, but
Sure, of course, but life gets in the way sometimes.
Yes, indeed.
And thank you for explaining to us that there is construction going on in your house as we're doing this recording. So that's what the sounds are that you'll be hearing there. So mindfulness is meditation, or it is not meditation? You kind of seem to equate that mindfulness comes from meditation, but I've never practiced meditation.
Well, there are various forms of meditation.
Okay.
And
I find golf to be very meditative.
Well, when I was going back to my master's thesis, I had my participants in my study do a seated mindfulness meditation, which is one form of meditation. There are meditations with mantras. There are, yoga could be called a form of moving meditation. There's walking meditation. But in mindfulness meditation, what you do is you sit in a place and get comfortable and try and maintain your posture, and maybe focus on something specific like your breath. And when you find that your mind wanders, you just gently bring yourself back to your breath, noticing the sensations of the air going in and out. And if you get distracted with the thought about the future or the past, you notice it eventually. Or you don't, but hopefully you notice it and you come back. And the more you do it, the faster you come back. The more you're in a state of presence, the more beautiful it is. And so in my study, I also had people practice golf mindfully. So for 20 minutes a day, I asked them to, and they worked up to it, to sit and meditate or be mindful, do a mindfulness meditation practice. And then I asked them to do 20 minutes of golf mindfulness practice, and I let them choose what they wanted to be mindful of, whether it was the head of the club, or be mindful of the ball, or be mindful of swing path. So, and I got some of these ideas of what to practice from a different Fred Shoemaker, who's a friend of the society and a great friend of mine, and from his book, Extraordinary Golf, which I recommend as well.
Oh, yeah. No, Fred has been on the show multiple times, and Extraordinary Golf, the video, and Extraordinary Golf, the book, is just, it's like must read for any golfer who thinks more about the game than just their swing thoughts. It'll put you in a new place, and it'll impact your game. No question, it'll impact your game.
Yeah.
I have monkey mind, right? So it's very hard for me to center my thoughts in one spot without being distracted by multiple things, and getting back to it is not always easy because my mind's just going all in all different directions at all times. But capturing my breath on the golf course, trying to center myself before a shot, not after the shot as much as from walking to the ball, from where I hit to where my next shot is. That's where everything is going. But trying to get that 2-minute segment of time focused on slowing down my breathing, dropping my shoulders, right? Focusing on the ball, not the result of the shot, but just what I want the swing to feel like. It's something that, came. It's really what brought me to doing Golf Smarter. It's why the first guest I had was Dr. Joe Parent of Zen Golf.
Yeah. And board member of the Shivas Irons Society.
And a board member and a great friend of Shivas Irons Society.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you do on the golf course as far as your mindfulness?
I probably do the same thing you do, because one of the things that brought me to learn about mindfulness was that I have the mind very similar to yours, and we're probably not the only two people that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I deal with, I think walking to the ball, breathing and being conscious and trying to be mindful is a good start and a good exercise. If I could do that a few shots around, that's probably, a lot, and it's great. I'm just like every other anxious golfer out there, which is why I chose to kind of study it, and same.
All right. Well, let's get ourselves into a mindful position here and take a quick time out, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation with Ben Kline right after this. This episode of Golf Smarter is brought to you by Dynamic Golfers. I'm all in on Dynamic Golfers because I can honestly say that after doing these workouts multiple times each week for almost a year now, I've definitely noticed a distinct lack of post-round aches and pains. But let's talk about the intensity of these workouts, because if it was me and I was told that I needed to work out 5 times each week for at least an hour and focus on getting my heart rate up, I'm gone. That's just not how I roll. That's part of what I love about Dynamic Golfers workouts. 15 to 20 minutes of dynamic stretches that are simple to do and well explained. Even if you've never done yoga before, and this isn't yoga. In more than 100 sessions, I've never had to do a downward dog or a warrior 2 pose. That's another thing I like about these video workouts. Before I begin, I can check to see what equipment I'll need to complete the session. And almost every piece of gear required suggests an alternative if you don't own, let's say, a yoga block. I've used a golf club when they suggest a stick. Some other, air quotes, equipment you'll be asked to incorporate are a tennis ball, a chair, a foam roller, and always a yoga mat. Each exercise is anywhere from 20 to 45 seconds long, and there's a nice meditative musical theme running behind the explanation of what to do. My workout this morning, number 160 of 419, included these meditative exercises: dynamic neck stretch, pyramid pose with blocks, chest opener, chair pigeon pose, calf stretch sequence, rolling pec stretch, dynamic dive with rotation, rotating arms, can opener with block, seated 4 with calf release, roll upper back. Oh, I love that one. And finally, pec massage. And at just over 20 minutes, this was one of the longer workouts in the daily stretching and mobility workouts. And again, I can't emphasize enough, these sessions are specifically designed to enhance flexibility and mobility for golfers. If you run to stay in shape, that's great, but it's not helping what your body needs for golf. As you check your progress, you'll feel and see results within 4 weeks. Right now, Dynamic Golfers is offering Golf Smarter listeners a 7-day free trial at 15% off with the coupon code GolfSmarter. One word, GolfSmarter. Again, dynamicgolfers.com/GolfSmarter and sign up for their 7-day free trial and 15% off the membership with that coupon code GolfSmarter. That's dynamicgolfers.com/GolfSmarter. I'd love to talk about the book Golf in the Kingdom. I think it's one of the few. I just started reading it again. Once I knew that we were going to be doing this, I thought, I need to read Golf in the Kingdom again. What's going on here? Because I know they've tried to make movies, but the book just on its own has created the Shivas Irons Society, right?
Yeah.
Which you were executive director. And
they did make a movie of it, by the way.
They did. Well, there's been attempts at making good movies at it, and I don't know if Michael was ever happy with any of the movies or not. I haven't talked to him about it.
I haven't talked to him about it either. But,
Michael Murphy, author of Golf in the Kingdom, and one of the founders of Esalen, right?
Yep. He founded the Esalen Institute way back when.
Right.
Yeah.
And Golf in the Kingdom is one of those books that if it connects with you, it really connects with you. I'm sure there are people who read it, they're going, what? What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, are they trying to do Bagger Vance here? No, it was the other way around, I think.
Yeah.
And Michael's been on the show a couple times.
Yeah. Oh,
and
good.
He actually, my wife's cousin was one of the founders of Esalen with him, and years ago when they had that article in Look magazine, there was a picture from Esalen in the 60s, the black and white cover, and there were all these people hugging, and they were making it look like a big sex party and stuff, and on the cover was the picture of my wife's cousin.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
Michael,
great.
and I talked to Michael about the cousin. He goes, oh yeah, of course, I remember Arthur. Yeah, great.
Yeah, well, when I first kind of took over the society, I went to Esalen and had a meeting with Michael, and had a nice little conversation, recorded it, and
Nice.
it was. I mean, that's one of the nice things of being part of the society is, and especially in my role, having an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with Michael Murphy, because he's a unique character.
Special man.
He's a special man. He channeled Golf in the Kingdom as how he talks about it.
Yeah.
He'll say that authors or great authors get one shot at a great book, and Golf in the Kingdom was it for him. He's written several other really interesting books as well, but Golf in the Kingdom, you're right, is really it spawned a small industry, I guess, and the fact that a movie came out of it, and the Shivas Irons Society, which was started by Steve Cohen, will be 30 years. June of this year at the U.S. Open. It was at Pebble Beach. Steve kind of kindled the Shivas Irons Society, and it's 50 years this year that Golf in the Kingdom was written.
Wow! And
you mentioned Joe Parent. It's 20 years this year that Zen Golf has been out. So
right. Yeah, well, Steve, a blessed memory. Yeah. Steve Cohen was on episode 34 of Golf Smarter. He was on a long, long time ago. When I first met, I went to a Shivas event in San Rafael at McGinnis, and that's where I met Michael. And
was that the night golf one?
No, it was before that.
Okay.
And let's see. So Dr. Alba was there, and Glenn was there, and Joe was there. Fred was not, but I did meet Steve and Michael at the time.
Yeah.
And so brought them along. Tell me, Golf in the Kingdom from your perspective. Give me your story about Golf in the Kingdom and how you interpret the book.
Yeah, I can't remember when I first read it. I came to California about 18 years ago to see about a girl, and I was living up not far from McGinnis in Marin County, and I guess I probably found Golf in the Kingdom and Extraordinary Golf and Zen Golf all around the same time. But and I met Steve Cohen because I went down to Esalen Institute because someone had told me about a workshop called the Golf in the Kingdom Workshop. And that would have been about 17 years ago. And Steve Cohen was leading the workshop with Bill Kondaxis, who's a golf coach with Extraordinary Golf, which is Fred Shoemaker's school. And the two of them led this 4-day thing at Esalen. And Esalen is kind of a unique place down in Big Sur, California, just about 20 some miles south of Carmel and Pebble Beach. Anyway, so I don't know if I'd read Golf in the Kingdom before that or not. Maybe not. But I guess I got kind of immersed in it, and kind of got why there was a society, because it is a transformational book. It's about transformation. It's about golf.
Give an overview of the book, if what you remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I as executive director of the society, I should probably read it, every year. And it's been a while since I've read it, but
and it's the kind of book you can read every year.
Oh,
because you're going to get something different every single time.
And there are members of the society that read it religiously and quote passages of it, and I'm like, yeah, good for you. Okay, right. That's just not how I roll, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So the book, actually, as alluded to it earlier, it's a story about a guy named Michael. You could guess it's the author. People have postulated whether the book is true or not true, and what golf course Burning Bush is based on. And people will swear that they know the answer. And I think I know the answer, and I'm not going to say because the book is also about mystery and mysticism. But it's a story of Michael, who's on his way to India to study with Aurobindo, this great Indian seer and teacher, and stops in Scotland and stops in the pro shop and says, "Hey, I'd really love to have a game of golf." And the guy in the pro shop says, "Well, our pro, Shivas Irons, is about to give a playing lesson, and there's room on the tee if you'd like to join." And so the book starts off with this round of golf. And Michael's playing golf and wanting to show how good he is, just like we all want to do when we're playing with strangers, right? And gets all frustrated, and then the round goes through. It's actually the way the lesson is taught is you play 6 holes. It's broken into 3 parts. You play 6 holes for score, you play 6 holes for technique, and they played 6 holes for true gravity. And anyway, so Michael observes this and plays like crap because he's trying to play great on the front 9. He plays really well on the back 9, and so that's the first part of the book, and then it goes into the bar and the conversation in the bar, which leads to a dinner, and the dinner takes place with an interesting cast of characters, including Shivas eventually, and then they go from the dinner to Shivas and Michael go off on their own, and a little exploration, and it gets really into the mystical part. And then the last part of the book is kind of an appendix, as I recall. It explores why a round is 18 holes, and why a golf ball is white, and why it's circular, and what is the hole all about, and it gets kind of esoteric and interesting and different, and that's my summation. There's actually a good synopsis of the book on our Shivas Irons Society website at www.shivas.org. I don't know. I guess you don't need the www anymore, but anyway, and I took that synopsis in great part from a book that is about the history of the Esalen Institute. So if you want to find more about it, go onto our website.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm going to keep this conversation going, but we're going to take another time out. We'll be right back. So when we played golf together back in November, it was actually the anniversary. I was playing really well.
You were playing well.
We had just driven down that day. It was a 3-hour drive. John and I came down. We were staying overnight. And we had just driven down 3 hours. And it was November 4th. And I remember this because it was the anniversary of my parents passing. Like 57 years, something crazy like that. And so I was fine with it. But then all of a sudden, something crossed my mind, and I got totally distracted. I had 3 holes in a row where I triple bogeyed. And I don't do that. I haven't done that in a long, long time. And I just wrote it off to, okay, I'm distracted. That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get back to where I was. And then I think I finished the round okay.
Yeah. My recollection is you played really, really well, because I'd played with you once before and you played fine before, but you improved.
Yeah, but we played years ago. We played well over a decade ago. I mean, we played a long time ago together.
And the thing about it is, most golfers don't get a whole lot better than after 3 years of playing the game, or whatever the length of time is. And you played great. And it's also interesting that you remember, because our minds are kind of wired to remember negative things, and that's
of course.
My recollection of your round was all the great shots you hit, and if I were to remember my round and think about it, I'd probably remember the bad shots too. But I thought you played great, and that you were distracted by such a profound memory that's just being very human, and that's a special thing, I think. So
thank you.
Embrace it. Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to go back to Shivas Irons.
Okay.
Let's not talk about me on this. This mystical journey.
Yeah.
Where in some ways it's almost an hallucinogenic journey.
Well, yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's phantasmagorical, I guess. There's some definite mystery. There's Shivas Irons' teacher makes an apparitional appearance in the book and in the movie, I guess. It's Michael Murphy, right? It's his book, it's his story that he'll tell you that he channeled, because he wrote it very quickly. I can't remember whether it was 3 weeks or 3 months it took him to put it down to paper, but it's a great story, and
it's not for everyone.
No.
It really isn't for everyone. But I have a feeling that the Golf Smarter audience, if the kind of things that we talk about on this show intrigue you and capture you, then you might want to look into reading Golf in the Kingdom if you haven't already.
Yeah, like I said, the 50th anniversary is this year, and I think there's going to be a republication, and possibly, I don't know, but it's a great time to pick it up again.
It really is, and I think there's only one book that in my life that I've read more than once.
Yeah.
It's probably just twice, and that was Catcher in the Rye. And now I'm going to read. I just started the other night. Just started reading Golf in the Kingdom again, and I intend to really read it this time.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to getting into it and going over paragraphs that I may have monkey mind out.
Yeah,
sure, and miss. And go wait. Yeah. Let's go over that one again. And just in the introduction and the setup alone, I even downloaded the audiobook too.
Oh,
I mean, I got it on my Kindle and I did the audiobook.
Cool. Yeah, there are a couple different audiobook versions, I think, couple different readers, if I'm not mistaken. And I listened to one of them, and it's good. Yeah, I generally prefer to have a book in front of me, but that's a good one.
I'm a Kindle kind of guy.
Yeah.
I can't do books because I fall asleep when I read, and whenever I have a book, I lose my place. I have no idea where I was. That's what I love about having a Kindle. Actually, if it wasn't for a Kindle, I wouldn't have been reading as much as I do.
Well,
I was never a reader, but now with a Kindle, it makes my life a lot easier.
Good.
Yeah. Tell me your favorite part. Give me one or two of your favorite parts of Golf in the Kingdom that you may remember.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part of the book is really that dinner table conversation where they go around the table, each person who's there. There's a couple who's there, and one of them's a doctor, and there's the wife of the host who gives one of the most famous speeches, which is about. She says they're all talking about what they love about the game of golf, and she says, golf is about men loving men. So it's when you're out there playing with your buddies, it's a way of expressing love and being comrades in arms, struggling together, fighting a battle together, because it's a war against the game and the course and ourselves, and but it's about appreciation of being out there together and supporting one another, and fighting together, and maybe competing, but that whole conversation where everyone says what they love about the game, I thought was probably the most profound part for me.
What do you love about the game?
There's so much. I love how it's a mirror to my mind. I love, and I've said this before, I love how it connects me with my father, who's been gone for a few decades at this point in time. And because he played the game, and we played a couple times growing up together. And I probably said this on your podcast when we first got together many moons ago. But I would have loved to have been playing golf with Dad now. To share that. So to share the game, because it's just hitting those shots and being out in nature, and the architectures of the different courses and stuff. There's just so much to love about golf. Being with your buddies. I love going out alone in the evening and maybe just playing 9 holes. The walk, just being outside and feeling the ground beneath my feet, and hitting some good shots and hitting some bad shots, and learning, just really learning to try to master something that I'll never master, just kind of like my own mind. So,
wow.
Yeah.
How Fred Shoemaker of you. You gotta, if you've not been to shivas.org, that's Shivas, shivas.org. You need to go there, tool around, learn about it, and then check out the video from Fred Shoemaker from Extraordinary Golf.
Yeah.
And it'll put you in a place, if you just listen to his rhythm and what he says, and it's beautifully shot, it just puts you in a place that makes you want to get out on the golf course and not just to hit balls.
Yeah. I mean,
you want to absorb the course in your feet and feel it from the ground up.
Golf is a game that's meant for walking, lad. That's what the book says. That's one of the quotes. Actually, rhythm is so important, and music's always been a big part of my life, and rhythm's a big part of music, and it's my other passion, golf and music. So.
Yeah. Interestingly, I have in my pre-shot routine, I have a rhythm that goes through my head, a tempo that helps my swing, and because music was always a big part of my life as well. And recently, I played with my son, and he likes having a speaker on the golf cart that he drives in, and a couple times I had to say, you gotta mute that. You gotta turn it down. Something. It's really distracting me, and I can't get in my rhythm because I'm really distracted by it. It's like, you got headphones. Put them on. Why do I need to hear that? Stop it.
Yeah. This younger generation. Yeah.
All right, those kids. All right, one more break. We'll be back. We're going to talk about Shivas Irons Society and the changes that Ben would make and that Shivas would make to golf when given the chance. After this. Ben, this is a question that I've asked a couple people recently, and I'm real curious to get the Shivas Iron perspective and yours.
Yeah.
But if you were made commissioner of golf, the world of golf, tomorrow, today, it was just announced, what would be the first thing you would change?
Golf would be 13 holes long, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I love the new equipment. I just got some new clubs, and I'm excited to get out and play with them and stuff. So, and I like
You'd make it mandatory to be fitted for clubs.
I like that the new equipment allows me to hit it, almost as far or maybe farther as I get better technique wise. So I wouldn't change the ball or anything. Maybe the pros should have their own equipment and stuff. But I think it's also nice that we get to play with the same equipment on the same playing field that the best in the world get to play. So, yeah.
Well, now you're getting equipment and the field.
Yeah.
Let's call it the field, the golf field,
Uh-huh.
that the pros are playing on. But should we be playing the same rules that the pros are playing?
Well,
should there be a set of rules for those guys who are hitting from tee boxes that don't exist normally? I mean, they're already doing that, right?
Well, I think that's one of the finer things about the game of golf is that we can play on the same field. We don't play from the same tee boxes because we don't hit it as far as they do, at least most of us. So in that way, the game has accommodations for us. The rules, I like some of the recent rule changes, like only looking for a ball that's missing for 3 minutes instead of 5, I guess it's 3 minutes. And being able to, if you hit a ball out of balance, now you can hit your fourth shot from the fairway where it went out. That's things to speed up the game. I'm a guy who likes to play fast, so anything that helps to make the game a little more efficient time-wise, I'm all for. But yeah, I don't have any great vision into how the game could be made a whole lot better. I think it's the greatest game on earth. So
If Shivas Irons were given the opportunity and made commissioner of golf and given the opportunity to make changes to the game, do you think he would? I'm sure he would have something to offer.
Yeah, well, Michael Murphy would be a better person to ask than I. But
it's true.
Yeah, but
maybe we got to get Michael back on the show.
Get Michael back.
Okay,
absolutely.
We'll punch you on that. All right, Mr. Executive Director of the Shivas Irons Society.
Yeah.
Congratulations for getting that position.
Well, it's been about 5 years now, I think.
Yeah. And here's your opportunity to make your pitch on why we should become members to the Shivas Irons Society.
Yeah.
Who's there? What you guys do? Let's talk about Shivas Irons.
Okay. Well,
Shivas.org.
Yeah. I'd like to start off by saying no one should be a member of the Shivas Irons Society. And everybody could be. But there's no should about it. It's... And I don't know that there's a calling to be a member of the Shivas Irons Society, but the society embraces, I think, some of the finer aspects of the game of golf. Society, as a word, is about a coming together for a common thought or purpose. Like the Audubon Society is about love of birds, and the Shivas Irons Society is about the love of the game of golf, or maybe the love of birdies. I don't know. But we're, and people are members of the society for different reasons. So people want to be affiliated with they want to find other like-minded golfers. So if the book Golf in the Kingdom resonates with you, you might be someone who wants to be a member of the Shivas Irons Society. So you can meet more people that are like you, that appreciate the game for some of the reasons you do. Some of those reasons might be good sportsmanship. It might be about playing golf in plus fours and playing with hickory sticks. We have some members who are avid hickory players. It might be about traveling and playing some great courses. The society's gone on trips throughout the years, not over the past couple because of COVID so much. We do an annual pilgrimage to Bandon Dunes. We had, I think, 18 Shivas members last year who went to Bandon, and we've been doing that for as long as Bandon Dunes has been around, and I've gone around the country playing, and over the years, the society's gone to Scotland, Ireland, I think Australia, Bhutan of all places. Luke Brosterhouse is a pro out in Colorado, and he took a group and taught kids in Bhutan how to play golf. So,
Wow.
so getting together to play golf, we go to the San Diego area kind of regularly. I've been to New York and Florida since I've taken over once or twice, and so it's about loving the game.
It's not just about travel.
It's not about travel. No, it's and also something that's kind of new with the society. It's kind of taken on since COVID. Is we've been doing some Zoom calls, some regular Zoom calls, and we've had Fred Shoemaker and Joe Perrin on. We've also had some authors. Martin Wells is a Shivas member out in the UK. And he's a psychotherapist and has written a book about mindfulness in golf. It's called No One Playing. It's a nice short read. And
Then there's another person we need to get on the show.
Absolutely. Martin is delightful and a wonderful spirit. And you should definitely get him on. And not just to plug his book, but just to feel the love. And I think that's what the society is about. It's about sharing the love and feeling the love, and using golf as kind of a metaphor for how we live our lives. And we live our lives like we're going to live forever, and we're not. And it's a touchstone for celebrating how precious the game is and how precious our life is. And when we can come back to realizing that we're only in this space called life for a nanosecond, relatively speaking, to the grand perspective of the universe and everything. And I'm getting out there, but it's special. So I'm done. But we have some great Zoom calls. We have get-togethers. Our website, which I helped to develop, I think facilitates members finding other members. We have some who will call me who don't use the website that well, because we have an older population. Golf in the Kingdom's been around for a long time, and the society's been around for 30 years. And I'll get a call from Bucky Jackson, and he'll say, "Hey Ben, I'm going to Alabama. Who do we have in Alabama that I could call to maybe get around to golf?" So that's very cool. Kind of thing happens as well, and I think that's a great feature and value in the society. And we'd love to have more members. So.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, is there any move to try to not to get new members, but to try to go a little younger too, since it's starting to age out? It feels like.
Yeah, no, we've got. We've got some younger.
What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, we've got some younger members. I think our group are people who love the game of golf, who are maybe more spiritually oriented than the guys who want to just drink and play golf and shoot the lowest score. So. If you find greater purpose in the game of golf than just that, then check out the Shivas Irons Society. It's not just for old guys, and there are some younger members, and we welcome those, and we'll support it for all the same reasons.
Yeah,
and open to ideas of how to make it more attractive to younger people. So,
that's great.
And in fact, speaking of younger people, our next Zoom call, which is next Tuesday. We've got Adam Hayek coming in. Adam is the CEO of Youth on Course, which is a great organization which helps to get the next generation of golfers access to the game and scholarships and a lot of great stuff. So I'll put that.
So do you record that and put that on the website?
I will. Yes, absolutely.
Please, because actually we're recording this. You're saying it's next week, and that means that when this gets published, that would have been
it'll be in the past.
Ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we can still get access to it at shivas.org.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. What is it about Bandon Dunes that's special to Shivas Irons Society?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the best links golf areas, certainly in this country. And links golf is kind of what golf in the Kingdom is about from the perspective of the play of the game. It takes place in Scotland, and that's where golf was invented. Some would argue, or most would argue, and it's a great walk. Bandon Dunes, you have to walk it unless you got a note from a doctor. You don't see carts on Bandon Dunes golf courses, and I guess there are 5 or 6 courses there now. if you include the preserve, the part 3. So
Preserve is awesome.
Yeah.
That's 13 holes, right?
yeah, that is a 13-hole course. Yeah, and short holes and great ocean views and stuff. And
right.
Kaiser did a great job with creating a links feel. I mean, he found the right place. It's on the ocean, and it's windy, and you'll find some tough conditions depending on the time of year. But it's
I played there I think it was about 10 years ago, and I hated it.
well,
While I was there, I really hated it because the winds were so intense and had such a strong impact on everything that we were doing, and it was hard to be in anywhere but in the moment, but thinking about moment going, why am I here? And it's a long, hard walk.
yeah,
And then when I got home and I started looking at the pictures, I was like, my God, what did I miss?
yeah,
This was amazing.
yeah.
And I can't. And so right now we've got a couple of us have got a trip scheduled there for 2023.
Awesome.
So about 18 months out,
Yeah,
because
it takes that long.
2022 is completely booked,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And here we are in the 1st of February, and the entire year is already booked,
Yeah.
abandoned. And they have, what you're saying, 6 courses there now, and you still can't get out.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
And then what's the joke I recently heard? The difference between playing golf in Ireland and Bandon Dunes is it's easier to get to the courses in Ireland than it is at Bandon.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy way to get there.
Yeah, but it's worth going to. I certainly
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Well, congratulations on your position, and I'm so glad that Shivas.org still exists, and I'm so glad I'm back to the book and getting back in touch to why I started doing this show in the first place.
Awesome.
And it was not about swing mechanics, and it was not about training aids. It was about the mystical, wonderful, spiritual, enlightening part of golf that I loved from the very moment I started playing, and I really appreciate being reminded of it.
How sweet that is. And it's just nice to be in touch with you again, Fred. So look forward to the next time we get out there and play some golf.
Okay, I need to share a quick story about 3 holes in my last round because my wife's eyes just glaze over when I talk specifics about my round. So sharing these stories with you is part of why I love doing the podcast. We talk the same language, right? So we played Peacock Gap in San Rafael, California, which we don't play as much as we used to, mainly because the drought has made the course conditions pretty bad, although they do have a great practice facility. So after the first 5 holes, I was 4 over, which isn't that bad, but I was 4 over due to an opening double and then another double on number 5, which is the number 1 handicap hole on the course. But I parred number 6, par 3, and then I had some decisions to make. Number 7 is a short par 4, only 244 yards from the white tees, but requires a strategic tee shot as there are 2 bunkers about 20 yards in front of a wide but not too deep green. Plus, there are 2 greenside bunkers directly behind the green. There was a slight wind at our backs, which is unusual for this hole. I was driving the ball well that day, so I debated as to whether or not I should try to go for it with my driver, as I'd never been so bold before with that hole at that spot. Usually what I would do is hit a hybrid or a 5-iron to leave a 100-yard blind wedge shot into the green. So I thought, listen, this round is probably headed in a bad direction, but I really think I can do this. So, to my friend's amazement, I pulled out the driver, aiming just over the left bunker and hoping my light fade would do its job. Stepped up to the ball, took a deep breath, dropped the tension from my shoulders and let it rip. And I nailed it. Ball flight was exactly as I saw it in my mind, then took a bounce past the bunker, the first bunker, and then kind of disappeared as it went down onto the green complex. As I walked up to the green, I found that my ball had rolled over the green and stopped at the top of a steep little ridge protecting the back bunker and in some tall grass, about 4 feet past the green and about 9 feet from the flag. My light and delicate chip hit my intended target and rolled right next to the hole, stopping at about 6 feet on the other side of the flag. Took my time, but made the putt for birdie. On to number 8, 462-yard par 5. Drive went to the right and into the rough. But that's what I love about par 5s, a good second shot with my hybrid positioned my ball to about 100 yards from the center of the green. My third shot, with my 49-degree wedge, landed about 25 feet to the left of the pin, leaving me with a slight right-to-left break. As I tracked the putt, it had good speed and stopped on the right edge of the hole, paused, and dropped. Another birdie. Now, I don't remember when I've had 2 birdies in a row. So now we're on to number 9, and that's a dogleg right with water all the way down the right side of the fairway that has swallowed many of my fades in past rounds. This is a 335-yard par 4 and the 17th handicap hole, so not that tough, right? So it just takes a couple of good shots to avoid the water and a single greenside bunker for one more birdie opportunity. Well, I crushed the drive and pulled my wedge to the left edge of the green, leaving me about a 34-foot putt to the center of the green. The putt felt great, but it just slipped by the pro side of the hole, stopping 3 inches past the cup. Okay, par. So that 4 over turned into a 38 on the front 9, and then making a bad club selection on number 17, ended up with a 6 over 41 on the back for a 79 on this par 71 course for the day. Now, without making a stupid shot after some bad results, I still have some trouble selecting the right club for the job every time, but that was a lot of fun for a midweek round. I really appreciate you listening to the story. Now, this is the last time I'm going to mention that time is running out to vote for Golf Smarter as the best golf podcast of the year in the inaugural Sports Podcast Awards. So please go to sportspodcastawards.com, sportspodcastawards.com, and vote for Golf Smarter before March 1, 2022. They have 24 different sports categories, so you may find other shows that you like, but when it comes to the 8 golf podcasts that have been shortlisted by hundreds of entries, hopefully you'll vote for us. I'll leave a link in the show notes and on our website so that you can vote today. Now, before we go, I want to thank Ben Kline for sharing the Shivas Irons Society with us and remind you that Golf in the Kingdom, even if it's not for everyone, is a pretty important read for any golfer who believes, like me, that golf, like life, presents itself in unique fashions every single day. Their website, shivas.org, S-H-I-V-A-S, shivas.org, has a number of quotes from the book, and I'd like to share just one. It says, "'Tis a shame, 'tis a rotten shame, for if ye can enjoy the walking, ye can probably enjoy the other times in your life when we're in between. And that's most of the time, wouldn't you say?" If you're interested in Golf in the Kingdom, please don't see the movie. Just pick up the book. Again, Golf in the Kingdom by Michael Murphy. And Michael has been a guest on Golf Smarter a few times, and our conversations can now also be found on Golf Smarter Mulligans. Today's episode was introduced by Golf Smarter listener Steve Bruskern, who plays at the Pinnacle Country Club in Scottsdale, Arizona. And because Steve has participated in this show, he's just won a full year membership to Dynamic Golfers valued at $90. I can't say enough about Dynamic Golfers and how it's helped my mental and physical state when playing golf, and I'd like to give you a full year's membership for free. Just introduce an upcoming Golf Smarter episode. All you have to do is click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com and let me know that you'd like to introduce our next episode. I'll assign you an episode number, then you call our toll-free Golf Smarter listener line. It's that easy to get a full year's membership to Dynamic Golfers. We thank them so much for how they're helping golfers of all skill levels and their support of Golf Smarter.